window and cut a fence. They escaped in a blue Dodge Challenger. And from what we understand, lots of schools on lockdown. Clearly, a lot of people are nervous, on edge. So we are going to be heading now to the Bibb County Sheriff's Office. We're actually going to first take a look at the 4 escaped inmates. As we said, there are 4 of them. You see them on your screen here: Joey Fournier, Mark Anderson, Jennifer Barnwell, and the third person there, I don't know if we can drop our news alert so I can see that name, is Chavis Stokes. Now, the person that you may be most familiar with is Joey Fournier, the 52-year-old. He was charged with murdering his ex-girlfriend, Cynthia Berry. This is a story that we have covered extensively. It happened in February of 2022.
We have 4 inmates that are out at large at this time. Those inmates are 52-year-old Joey Fournier, white male, gray hair, blue eyes, 5 feet 9 inches tall, and weighs 140 pounds. He's being held into Bibb County Jail for murder. Second inmate is 24-year-old Mark Kerry Anderson, black male with dreads, 5 feet 9 inches tall. He weighs 165 pounds. He was being held for aggravated assault. Third inmate is 37-year-old Jennifer Darnell Barnwell. Jennifer Barnwell, black male, 5 feet 9, weighing about 190 pounds. He was being held for the U.S. Marshals for drug charges. The fourth inmate is 29-year-old Chavis Demario Stokes, black male, black hair, 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing 160 pounds. He was being held for possession of a firearm by a felon, as well as drug trafficking. We're right now investigating this, trying to piece together what all happened to cause this escape to take place last night. We do know that around 6 o'clock this morning that a break in the fence was found in the perimeter of the LEC jail facility. At that time, they started going backwards to figure out what happened. They started viewing video footage and discovered that right around 3:30 this morning, these inmates were able to leave out from a day room window on a second floor day room area of the jail. They were able to get out, go through that window, and run out through a break in the fence. There was some video footage of a vehicle that had been there earlier in the evening that looked like they had been tampering with the fence, as well as bringing some items into the enclosed area of the fence that we believe were used by these inmates to escape. That is why we have a lookout now for this blue Dodge Challenger. We have that vehicle. We really have very good reason to believe that that vehicle is involved in this situation. One thing I want to make clear: whenever we put this out earlier, we let everybody know. I think we got word out to the school system just as a protocol to let them know that we had an escape, but there's been no indication whatsoever that any school or that any of these inmates or any of these escapees have been anywhere around any of our schools in our area. Right now, we are following up on some leads as to where these individuals may be, and going forward. We have our partners in the FBI, ATF, state partners. This is an all hands on deck situation when something like this happens. So we certainly want people to call in. We have Crime Stoppers, 1-877-68-CRIME. There's been a $1,000 reward offered for information that is that will lead to the recapture of these individuals. We have also set up 2 hotlines here at the Sheriff's Office, and we'll be sending that out for more, but those two numbers are 478-310-4485, and the other number is 478-310-4052. Those two numbers, as well as certainly Crime Stoppers numbers, will be staffed 24/7 for anybody that has any type of tips or any kind of information leading to the recapture of each of these individuals. So if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Do you know how they got into the day room during those hours?
That's what we're looking at. We have some of our situations where they can get into the day room. Sometimes the day rooms are not locked. Typically, when they are supposed to be in bed, sometimes the day rooms are not locked. Some of the doors are where they're not able to be locked, and then sometimes they're not. Typically, that's not an issue because the inmates are supposed to be at another part of the jail. But these inmates were able to get into the day room and work to open up this window. So all of that's being looked at. Go ahead, Greg.
I was supposed to ask if the white guy is possibly in Rome, Georgia, his brother's, where they last found him.
Well, they could be anywhere. Any tip, these individuals could be anywhere. We don't know if they're all together at this point. We don't have any reason to believe that they had any type of association with each other out on the street, but they certainly had some type of association with each other in the jail. So to take them to the point to where that they all wanted to escape together, but whether they're how long they stayed together or even if they're together at this point, we don't know.
Why was the public not notified before 11:20?
Well, we were looking at it. We had to backtrack to figure out when it was that this escape happened. If we had an escape, when it happened. As soon as we knew internally that there was, our investigators were immediately notified, our SRT team, the jail and the Sheriff's Office leadership was notified, and so we were already following leads even at that early hour. And so it was to make sure that we had all the information to get out the right information. We had to do a census of the whole jail to make sure that we didn't have any others that were missing or any other places in the facility that might have been compromised. But make sure we know that as soon as we knew that there had been an escape, internally there were investigators, there were deputies on the street looking for them as soon as we knew.
Is there any staff disciplinary actions coming?
We're looking into all of that. Right now our main goal is to get these 4 individuals recaptured. And any help that the public can give us in that regard will do. We will look at what needs to be done in the jail setting or staffing and that sort of thing going forward. We'd already started making some staff changes. In fact, the major of the jail, this was his first day being assigned in the corrections, so he sort of got a good wake-up call this morning. So, but we have good staff in there. We may make some more changes going forward, but right now my focus is getting these individuals back into jail, and we'll dissect what happened and fix that as we go forward. Grant, I think you had a question.
How many people were staffed in the jail between 3 and 6 a.m.?
Not as many as we would like.
Well, but an exact number? I mean, what's adequate?
There was less than 10 people working in the jail.
And how many people detained currently?
I'm sorry?
How many people do you have detained currently? Like,
A little over 800. And so that's been an issue for us. Staffing, the conditions of the jail. We have a 43-year-old jail, and this happened in the oldest part of the jail, the oldest, run-downest part of the jail. And so I've been talking about we need a new jail, we need a new jail. We have a jail that is falling down on us, that is breaking down. I think there's some elements of all of that played a role in this particular situation here. So not blaming anything. We're going to go back and figure out what were the causations of this and rectify those things. But there's never just one thing that causes something like this. There are several things. Staffing is one of them. But there are things that might could have been done differently as we look into this. There are things that might have alerted deputies as to what was going on, that they could have checked into it, but that's all being looked into. We have an internal affairs investigation going into that right now. But right now, I want to catch these guys. We want to catch these guys. That is the most important thing right now, is to get these 4 individuals back into Bibb County Jail.
What's the normal night shift,
I'm sorry?
staffing-wise?
It varies. It really does. It depends on how many people are on a shift. It depends on how many people, you have people who call in. We have part-times that come in. Sometimes we don't have as many part-times working one shift as we do another. It's always a management thing. It's always trying to get enough people on staff. And you can start off thinking you have 15 or 20 people working. Somebody calls in sick. Somebody has to leave. Something happens. So we're going to look at all of the factors that went into the staffing decisions and the staffing levels last night to see what role that played into it.
Gotcha. Is that 15 to 20 person number that you mentioned the ideal staffing, or what is the ideal staffing for the night shift?
Well, for any shift in the jail, about 30 people. We've not been able to have 30 people in the jail working on any shift in a long time. We're able to do it with less than that. We're able to do it with as few as 6 or 8 people. But when you want an optimum staffing level to have every position covered, it takes about 30 people to do that in the jail. And so that's some of the things we're working on. We get people hired. We having part-timers coming in and work towards that. But we're going to drill down and figure out what happened last night on staffing levels, any type of notice that might have been given, or any kind of information that might have been intel into the jail and that sort of thing. But that, as I said, that's a standalone investigation. We're looking into that. Right now, the most important thing is to get these individuals back into custody.
Is this the same hole they used to do Contraband a few years ago?
I don't think so. It's another one that was in that same general area, but it's not the same one, I don't think.
So that fence, forgive me if I heard you wrong, you mentioned they were out there the previous night,
Yeah.
and that they had doctored it somehow and maybe even gotten tools through it. What time exactly was that, and were they supposed to be out there at that time?
Well, no, now, that was somebody at the fence tampering with that. We're still looking at the video footage to see exactly what transpired at that time. But we're looking at that to think that they might have been some tampering of the fence. There was some, looks like some items that were brought in to the fence and then brought over to the, closer to the facility where somebody could bring them into the jail and then use those items maybe to help hasten their escape. So we're looking into all of that right now. But that's where that blue car comes in, and we have that on the video, and we've sent that picture of that vehicle out in lookouts, and anybody in the public that might know something about that would be very helpful to us.
Is there any relation here to the break-in through the gate a couple weeks ago?
Not sure. I'm not going to rule anything out right now. That other time might have been a test in the system to see what might happen. But we had done some things to remedy that hole in the fence and where they had gotten into the jail facility at that time. But we don't know. Anything's on the table right now.
Gotcha. And where they escaped from this time, how close is that to the other gate? If that wasn't clear.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't very far, but right on it. But we were pretty close.
I got more. Keep going.
All right.
Do you know who the blue car was owned by?
If I knew that, they'd be in jail right now.
On that same vein, are the flock cameras in operation yet? I know we talked about that before.
No, the flock cameras here in Bibb County are not up and running yet, but there are flock cameras in every county around here, and we are accessing that database. We do have cameras here in Macon that we are using, that we're looking at to see if we can, and some of those cameras have been able to show us a little bit of information that's been useful to us. So we're trying to compile all of that data and get all of that, all of those images, and we're hoping that anybody that might have seen something real early this morning, because there's not that many cars out. This blue Dodge Challenger is sort of a unique looking vehicle. If you've seen the picture, it's kind of a sky blue vehicle. So if anybody's seen that, we certainly would like to talk to them.
Is there anything that people should do tonight? Lock their doors, check their sheds. How can people stay safe?
Well, be prudent, obviously. If you see something suspicious or hear of anything suspicious, certainly look. If you hear somebody rumbling around in your shed or in your garage, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to call, have some deputy come and check it. But typically in these types of situations, they've already planned out getting out, and they probably have somebody on the outside that has been waiting for them, so they may or may not even be in this area. There's nothing to indicate to us that they're still on foot anywhere near the jail. I mean, we've had escapes in the past where we catch them within a block or two of the facility, but in this particular case, we've not had any indication of that. We've canvassed the area all around the LEC and have not found anything.
Did they use that car, the blue car, to escape?
We're not sure. We saw the car. We saw them run away. The car was in the parking lot and then it left. Then we see the inmates escape. So we don't know if they got into that car, maybe got into a different car or what have you. So I can't put them right back into that same car right now. But we would sure like to talk to the person driving that car.
So, quick clarification, the time between 6 a.m. and then the 11:20 press release, that time, was that long because you're just trying to figure out exactly who it was who'd gone missing?
No, we had an idea who was missing fairly closely, but that's just jail protocol. When you have an escape, you canvass the jail. But all while that is going on, we have our SRT team, our investigators, all of those individuals out already looking, because each one of these are charged with some pretty serious crimes, and one of them, the Barnwell, just was sentenced to life in prison in the federal system. So he probably has some incentive to want to get out of jail. So we were familiar with all of these individuals and following leads, trying to figure out where they might be. So it wasn't like we were sitting on our thumbs. We were working within the sheriff's office and investigative and looking into jail, but we wanted to make sure that we had all of the information to give out in a, get the right information out. I'd hate to say, okay, at one time we thought only one had escaped. Then we did this, as we censused the jail, once we looked at the videos that we had, we realized we had 4. Then we had to make sure we verified which 4 it was, which ones we were. So we want to get all of those facts. But we were out on the street searching and following leads all during that time.
When deputies are working the jail, do they do counts like they do in a prison setting periodically, where they just are constantly updating?
They're supposed to count at every shift, but when this happened, it was between counts, obviously 3:30 in the night. They're supposed to be asleep. That's not when they should be doing block checks and that sort of thing. We're looking at when block checks were done, all of that. That's, as I say, that's all part of the internal investigation that he's doing for the jail. This is sort of like if a water pipe bursts, first thing you want to do is to stop that water flowing. Well, we've got an inmate jail burst that we want to catch those inmates right now. That is our first priority. The jail, we have the jail on lockdown as much as we can with the facility as it is. And so we want to capture these inmates and get them back in a secure facility, and then we'll deal with whatever other factors that contributed to this escape. But you have to remember, there were four people who decided they did not want to be in jail, and they made effort and made things happen to where they were able to escape. And so we want to get them back in, and then the things that we need to fix on our end are the things that contributed to this thing, staffing, the jail facility, the building itself, all of those kinds of things will be looked at. And so they're being looked at now, but right now I want to catch these folks.
So we talked about when the press release went out, but I want to take it back. What time did you guys tell the school system what was going on and when they went on lockdown?
What time was that? What time did y'all call the school system? I know that was. I know it, but somebody from the. It was about 9 or 10 o'clock that they were notified, and we did that as just as a protocol to let them know we've had escape, and then we didn't, certainly as being a partner in the community, let them know of what's happening. There was not any kind of indication that any of these inmates would even be around a school at all, but just to let them know, and then they have their set of protocols that go into play, whether it be a modified lockdown or whatever they do. That's their protocols that they followed once they got this information. But let me be clear, there's no indication, even at the beginning or now, that any of these inmates were ever around any school.
You talked about the gap between it initially happening, you guys finding out at 6 a.m. and then the press release at 11. So you spent that time kind of gathering the information, right? Obviously important to get everything right. So you notified the schools at 10.
Yeah.
How much information did you have for them then? Was it the same amount in the press release?
It was pretty much the same. We had said we had 4 escapees, and that we kind of gave them a general description of what we were looking for, and that was as we were getting everything out to send to the media. And so it's all kind of working at the same time. The school system, we're gonna call them a little bit quicker and let them know, and then send out the press release. I mean, look, we want to let y'all know as fast as as soon as we found the hole in the gate, we should have called the media and said, hey, we found a hole in the gate. Then y'all going to want to know, well, did somebody escape? Well, we don't know. Hold on. What happened? How many escaped? We don't know. So we had to get all of our information together so that we had a complete picture of what happened, so that so we let you know. And so I know that we like to get it out, but while at the same time our investigators were already on the street, our SRT team, and you never know, we might have caught a break and caught 1 or 2 of them, or all of them in that interim time. But the indications are they have gone away. I don't know if they've gone from this area. A couple of them have contacts outside of the Middle Georgia area, so we're certainly following up on that. That's where we have the U.S. Marshals, the Southeast Regional Fugitive Task Force. We have the FBI. We have all types of different technologies and tools that we're using to follow up on this. And I feel comfortable that we'll be getting leads. We've been getting leads so far, and we'll continue to get them as we go forward.
What processes are in place to prevent this sort of stuff? Is there some sort of alert system or anything that would tell you when they open the gate or something?
Well, there's supposed to be that. That we're looking to see what happened last night. There should have been somebody that heard some tampering, and there's some indications that somebody might have, and we want to make sure that what was followed up on it. But you can guarantee that there will be a heightened vigilance on what goes on in the jail going forward. I mean, we always, in that, we know that there have been some things that we needed to shore up. The jail's been in the news lately. The conditions in the jail, the neutral oath, and that sort of thing. Maybe You know, maybe they got tired of eating neutral loaf, I don't know. But that's part of what we're looking at in the jail, to see what we need to do to fix that so this doesn't happen again.
Is it possible that the damage to the gate a few weeks ago maybe messed with the system somehow?
No, not in that way, no, no. All right, anybody else?
Anything else? No,
Sheriff,
Go on,
I just
Anthony.
got word that the 4052 number is very staticky, so we added a third one. I know you put it out, 4052, scratch that. 4502 will be one of the two that we know are solid, tested,
All right.
we know they're working.
All right, let me give you those numbers one more time. You got certainly Crime Stoppers, 1-877-68 crime. We have the chairman of Macon Regional Crime Stoppers, Warren Selby, here. Thank you for coming, Warren, and kind of showing support and doing that. But we have Macon Regional Crime Stoppers, 1-877-68 crime. Get a $1,000 reward. Also, the other numbers are 478-310-4485, and then 478-310-4502. And I know the FBI and some others are getting up some reward money, and if once we know how much that is and what that's going to be, we'll be sending out a release on that very soon. Plus, we'll be sending out another flyer to everyone that kind of has their pictures and has the information and that sort of thing, and it has these hotline numbers on it also.
These men are dangerous,
I'm sorry.
and these men are dangerous, don't try to mess with them.
I would think that anybody who's escaped from the jail with some of these charges would be somebody that probably does not want to go back to jail, and that anybody that would want to try to stop them, a civilian or somebody that is not ready to fight, probably would just best call one of these hotline numbers and let us deal with them, because they are charged with some serious crimes. 3 out of the 4 have been in our jail several times before. So yeah, I would consider these individuals to be a little bit dangerous.
One more thing, 'cause I just thought of it.
Sure.
Something like this, it's not going to be communicated over, landlines in the jail. Do you have anything that suggests that they might have used cell phones to communicate with these people? And if so, how do they get in there?
That's something that we're looking into. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to stand up here and be so naive as to think that there's not cell phones in the jail, and that cell phones may have not played a role in this particular escape. There's not a jail in Georgia that doesn't have cell phones in it. There's not a prison in Georgia that doesn't have a cell phone in it. And so to what level that type of communications played in this escape, we're gonna drill down into that. So yeah.
Do you have an estimate of how many you think are in there?
I wouldn't venture to guess. I would say more than 2 and less than 50. There's no way to know. Ask a prison warden how many cell phones are in his facility or whatever. I mean, you don't know. Every week, our deputies are doing shakedowns and searches in the jail, and they're finding cell phones. If you remember, just 3 weeks ago, we arrested one of our part-timers for bringing in cell phones and other contraband items. So it's always a cat and mouse game with contraband and cell phones and that sort of thing in a correctional facility.
Anything you want to say?
I just want any help that the public can give us. Anybody that knows somebody that sees this tonight knows where these 4 people are, and somebody is probably laughing at the TV set saying, "Oh, they'll never catch us. They'll never catch us." We will catch them. They will come back to jail. It's just a matter of when. right? And we are,
Craft tables in the back corner.
yeah, well, that's
Get you a
right.
sandwich.